Good afternoon. Stephen J. Davis coming to you here again from Steve's Attic here in Huntington, West Virginia. And it's the day before Memorial Day 2021. Normally you would see me sitting behind that podium there and playing my guitar over here and singing and performing for you folks just because it's what I like to do. But I wanted to give you a story today that I've felt very led to do for the last couple of years and just haven't done it. My family on my mom's side, their last name was Lavender, from Fayette County, West Virginia, the community of Garton, near Fayetteville. Actually, their address is Fayetteville, West Virginia. And during World War II, right after the beginning of World War II, my mother's cousin, who was really more her brother than her cousin, enlisted in the Navy. What I want to tell you about today is how he got into the Navy and how he became my mother's really brother rather than cousin, so to speak. James M. Lavender. The family knew him as Jimmy. When he was about 2.5 or 3 years old, his father, my grandfather's brother, Walter Lavender, passed away from typhoid. There was 2 sons. There was Jimmy, and there was Walter Jr., or Buddy, as he was known to the family. Both ended up in the service in World War II. Jimmy, in particular, was not old enough to go into the service. So what had happened was my grandparents adopted Jimmy when he was about 3. Raised him as his own. So my mom knew him as older brother Jimmy or cousin Jimmy, but really was her brother, because he lived with him ever since she could remember. Jimmy was, of course, like many other young men back then, very patriotic, ready to defend our nation at whatever cost. And Jimmy did pay that. Jimmy was too young to enlist, and my great-grandfather, A.D. Lavender, signed so he could enlist. My grandmother never liked my great-grandfather after that again. I remember when I grew up, as I was growing up, this picture would be on the wall of my grandmother's house, wherever it was. This picture has gone through many, many moves. Went through a tornado in Xenia, Ohio in 1974, where my grandparents lost their house. But it's still here, and now I own it. I have it. It was left to me. Soon I'll be moving to Fayette County, West Virginia, to the same property that Jimmy was raised on. As Jimmy went into the service, he went into the Navy. He was assigned the African theater in a ship that was actually a troop transport ship. That was a ship that had been a merchant ship that had been converted to a troop ship. November 2nd, 1942. Now, if any of you know history, you know that we didn't really get into the war till after December 7, 1941. Jimmy soon thereafter convinced my great-grandfather to sign and help him get in the service, and he went in. Jimmy was 17. Actually, I believe when he signed up, he was probably 16, if I've got my dates right. What happened after that is not real clear about his service. And this picture is one of the very few pictures we have of Jimmy. I have another one where he was younger, probably 13 or 14. A snapshot that was taken in Hazard, Kentucky, as my grandparents had moved over there where my grandfather was working in the coal mines. But I believe when World War II started, they had moved back to Garton, West Virginia from Hazard, Kentucky. So actually Jimmy was living in Hazard, or had lived in Hazard for a while, and then come back with my grandparents and the rest of the family to Garton, near Fayetteville, West Virginia. So when Jimmy went into the service, he was put on that ship. He was a Seaman, 2nd class. That ship, as they were picking up wounded off the coast, really near Casablanca is where they were, was torpedoed by a U-boat. And you can go to the U-boat listings where they list all the folks killed, all the naval and any other person in the military that was killed during a U-boat attack. That ship was sank during a U-boat attack as they were sending out small vessels to pick up wounded. It was also being used as a hospital ship off the coast of North Africa as the United States and the British tried to take back North Africa from what at that point was the desert patrols of Hitler's army, the Nazis. Over the years, I've always had this feeling that Jimmy was watching us as this picture hung every time it was at my grandmother's house. Now, when my grandmother passed away in, I believe, 2004, my mother got this picture, and it was never put back on the wall. It was never hung up anywhere. I know that my uncle, which would have been basically the younger brother, youngest cousin of the family, John Lavender, still has his Purple Heart and some other things that he's offered to give to me, and I'm going to go get those soon. And I intend on putting this back on the wall when we put in our new home, and doing some things to show respect to what Jimmy did for all of us. And I've always thought that I've had so much of a long life at almost 61 years now I've been on this planet that Jimmy didn't get. And I may have gotten that life because Jimmy did what Jimmy did, and because all those other brave men and women did what they did from all those countries, but most especially this one. There was over 400,000 lives lost in World War II from this country, and Jimmy was one of them. So normally you would see me singing and playing, but today I felt like this is Memorial Day, and we need to remember these folks. And James M. Lavender, if you go to Charleston, West Virginia, to the memorial where all the different wars have all the killed in action listed, you'll find him top of the third row, about 3-4 names down for the World War II portion of that. And I don't know how you thank somebody that's already gone, and I never do. I was kind of robbed of an uncle, clearly. I guess we would have called him Uncle Jimmy because, he was part of the family. He had been adopted into the family by, my grandfather's oldest brother had passed away, and they gladly took him in. Walter Lavender, his brother Buddy, was in World War II. He made it through. I knew Buddy. He lived in Garton, right across the road from where Jimmy and him were raised. I think he lived there almost all of his life, if not all of it. I know he has passed away as well, like most of our veterans in World War II have. But there are so many that owe so much to these folks right here. And I'm concerned about the patriotism of our country. And I'm concerned about where we go from here. But I know one thing. I will never stop being thankful for what those men and women did in that war and other wars, beginning in the American Revolution and coming all the way up to where we still serve in Afghanistan and other parts of the world today. I thank them for what they do now, but since this is Memorial Day, this is on one that didn't make it home, which is what Memorial Day is really for. And James M. Lavender, I thank you. I thank you for what you did for us. And I hope the heavens are being great to you, because I just know they are. This has been Stephen J. Davis coming to you from Steve's Attic. Day before Memorial Day 2021. Thanks, and we'll be back real soon with music for you folks. Thank you.